The city of New Orleans has certainly lost an iconic figure. The passing of Tom Benson, of course, the Saints and Pelicans owner. And Jeff, it's almost, he's so synonymous with New Orleans because of the team and because of the passion and that he brought to having these professional franchises here in New Orleans. Just your thoughts on just the legacy maybe he leaves behind with such a, like I said, a passion for this city.
Well, Tom Benson, obviously a New Orleanian, a self-made billionaire who built a huge business empire, not only here in New Orleans, but also in San Antonio. And then in purchasing the teams, back when he bought, of course, the New Orleans Saints in 1985, he kept the teams in New Orleans. I think that's going to be part of his legacy is not only did he keep the teams local, but he also raised the standard in the building. That will be his greatest legacy because he changed the Saints from being a laughingstock to being a very competitive organization and ultimately brought a Super Bowl to the city of New Orleans.
Now, within this conversation, there's certainly been some good times and some times where Tom Benson was not in the greatest of light. Of course, that was in the aftermath of Hurricane Katrina, and when there was talk of maybe moving the team, and of course there was some angst about that. But ultimately, he did make the decision to come back. And how much do you think from that point on that Tom Benson's legacy as basically improved as far as the perception of him in this city and in this region?
Well, there's no question he was a polarizing figure, but I think largely in the last decade, especially during the Sean Payton, Drew Brees era with the Saints, and the fact that Tom Benson stepped up and bought the Pelicans at a time when there was a lot of confusion and disarray in the management and ownership, I think he won over most New Orleanians, most Louisianans, because he was keeping these teams here, and he's also raised, I think, the standard at the Pelicans organization, trying to be competitive there, changing the name to the Pelicans, I think was part of his legacy as well. But certainly people will always remember his passion play with the city of San Antonio. It's going to be part of his legacy. But I think largely in the last decade or so, Tom Benson has become much more popular as an owner and will always be remembered, I think, in a favorable light by most New Orleanians.
And also, you can't discount, he's a shrewd businessman, but extremely philanthropic. Look at what he's done with Tulane, look at what he's done with things like at Ochsner, the Pro Football Hall of Fame. I'm missing probably countless other things that he's done to help better either this community or things that he's very passionate about.
No, there's no question. He's been a great was a great civic leader during his time, and especially later in his life, became very passionate about giving back to the community. And certainly the community has benefited from having Tom Benson as an owner and over the years as just a civic leader in our city.
Absolutely. The city lost an iconic figure and will forever be remembered here, Tom Benson, as he's passed on, and his legacy will live beyond him with the things that he did.
Hey guys, welcome to the All Pro Nation podcast. My name is Chris Smith, and as you may or may not have known, this past week the Saints Nation lost a very important member of our family. Owner Tom Benson has passed. And for those of you who aren't fans of the Saints, you may not know the history of Tom Benson. You may not know how controversial of a figure he was in New Orleans and how he was kind of a lifesaver to the city and to the state as a whole. In 1995, then owner John Minka was looking to move the Saints team to Jacksonville, Florida. He was the first owner, the original owner of the franchise, and he was looking to move the team to Jacksonville, Florida to kind of refreshen the brand. As everybody kind of jokes, the Saints had the nickname of the Aints as they struggled to even garner a few wins throughout its inception to 1985. Governor of Louisiana, Edwin Edwards, saw the potential move and said, this isn't what's good for the state, this isn't what's good for the city, and he convinced a rising millionaire, eventually billionaire, in Tom Benson to buy the team. Tom Benson famously said, we have some of the best fans in the world and we're going to end up having one of the best teams in the world. After that, Tom Benson would be in public battles with the state over leasing and contracts in regards to the Superdome. He even flirted with moving the team to a different city. And it wouldn't be until 2005, after Hurricane Katrina, that Tom Benson would publicly flirt with the idea of moving the team to its temporary home of San Antonio, Texas, and making that the permanent home. The fan backlash to Tom Benson was pretty great, and really you have a mixture of fans. You have the fans who still pretty much hated Tom Benson because of the threat of moving the team and the public displays that he put on throughout the 2006 or 2005 season. Bashing reporters and just not being a very lovable person. It would be after that Tom Benson would decide to keep the Saints in Louisiana. Him and general manager Mickey Loomis would then go on to hire Sean Payton and Drew Brees and pretty much change the face of the franchise and turn the franchise around with just a few hires. Of course, everybody who's a Saints fan remembers the hype of the Reggie Bush pick in the 2006 draft. And it would be that 2006 draft class that would set the Saints up to go on a run to win their first Super Bowl in franchise history in 2009, beating the Indianapolis Colts. I remember as a fan watching the Super Bowl on television and them interviewing Tom Benson as he's hoisting the Lombardi trophy high above his head, and he proclaimed that, this isn't just for the city, this was for the state, and that the state of Louisiana was finally back. After the heartbreak of Hurricane Katrina, Tom Benson said that the state of Louisiana had finally come back. From then on, Tom Benson would pour hundreds of millions of dollars, and not just the NFL, including his donation to the Hall of Fame in Canton, Ohio, and the stadium being renamed after him, the Tom Benson Stadium. He would also dump hundreds of millions of dollars in local charities and the Ochsner Hospital system. And in 2014, the state of Louisiana would erect a statue honoring Mr. Benson in Champion Square right outside of the Superdome, cementing his legacy as one of the greatest figures in New Orleans Saints in Louisiana history. Tom Benson's truly going to be missed, and we look forward to the transition to his wife, Gail, as she looks to move the Saints into this new era. And we hope that Mr. Benson's looking down and that we'll be able to bring another Lombardi trophy, and he'll be up in heaven doing the famous Benson Boogie for many more years. So, that's all I have to say about Tom Benson. He's going to be truly, truly missed. As always, got the spammer in chief with me, Tanner Weber. Tanner, how you doing, man?
What's up, Chris? Doing good, man. That was touching.
Thank you, man. Thank you. Tom Benson, look, I'm one of those Saints fans that I was so pissed off. I was so mad with the public flirting with San Antonio. And never thought I'd get over it. Never thought I'd ever like Tom Benson as an owner. But of course, he meant so much to this franchise post Hurricane Katrina. Obviously, I forgot to even mention buying the New Orleans Hornets and changing their name to the Pelicans and really committing himself to the city. So Tom Benson's truly going to be missed. All right, so tonight's show is going to be fun. We're gonna hit on a couple free agency topics and some of the news topics of the week at the end of the show. But we're going to start this show with our very first All-Pro Nation mock draft. So what we're going to do is me and Tanner have each come up with our own mock draft. We're gonna go through all 31 teams of the first round. We're going to mock draft this. I'm going to let Tanner go first, and then I'll go second. And then after I go, Tanner's going to reveal what the fans voted on in our interactive mock draft that we did over the weekend. If you didn't get involved with the interactive mock draft, don't worry. I think we're going to do another one. Are we, Tanner?
Oh, definitely.
Okay, we're gonna do another mock draft, interactive mock draft on the Twitterverse. So be sure you're following us.
We'll definitely do one more.
Yes, be sure you're following us on Twitter at All Pro Nation, so you can be sure that you can let your voice be heard. Because remember, All Pro Nation is where fans have a voice, so you're going to want to be sure that you're following us so you can have a voice in the interactive mock draft. So we're going to do that. We're going to run through our first round mock draft, and then we're going to hit on a little free agency and some news topics, kind of discuss a few things, and then we're going to get you guys out of here. I will post my mock draft, and I'm sure Tanner will post his mock draft on All Pro Nation. So if you want to go back and kind of get a visual of what we put, you can go check out those mock drafts on allpronation.com. So, all right, well, let's get started. And so with the first pick in the 2018 NFL Draft, the Cleveland Browns are on the clock. And Tanner, who are they taking?
You know what? I think John Dorsey has set himself up in a good position, bringing in Tyrod Taylor and all the talent that they've assembled throughout the offseason to finally go and get a quarterback that they don't have to throw in the fire right away to begin his career. Josh Rosen came out a couple months ago and said that, you could tell he wasn't really interested to play in Cleveland. So I think the pick here is going to be Sam Darnold. As of right now, the quarterback out of USC. I love what Sam Darnold brings to the table and his mentality that he has. I think that he's going to get an opportunity to sit behind Tyrod Taylor for a few years and learn instead of just being thrown in the fire like a lot of the Cleveland quarterbacks have been in the past.
Yeah, good analysis. I pretty much think the exact same thing you think. I just got a different quarterback going number one. I am going to take Josh Allen, quarterback out of Wyoming, as my number one pick to the Cleveland Browns.
So bold.
Josh Allen. And who did the fans pick?
So our interactive mock draft that we ran on Sunday, we had 4 choices. Obviously, most people think running back Saquon Barkley, the kid out of Penn State, is the best player in the draft. So he is an option, and the other 3 were quarterbacks: Sam Darnold, Josh Rosen, and Josh Allen. Sam Darnold was the pick by the fans at almost 50% picked Sam Darnold, and Saquon Barkley came in second.
Okay. And I've been saying on the podcast a couple of times that I think I thought Barkley's going to be the number one pick, but kind of seeing a lot of things happening trade-wise, especially the New York Jets moving up to number 3. That lets me believe that there could, quarterback could be the 1, 2, and 3 pick, and if the Browns, definitely going to be 2 and 3, and so if the Browns pick at number 1 and they pick Barkley, then the quarterback that they want probably won't be there at 4. So I think that's why they go quarterback, knowing that Barkley might be there still at 4.
Yeah, that's the safest option for them.
Yeah. So, all right. So with the second pick in the 2008 NFL Draft, the New York Giants are on the clock.
The Giants are a really fun pick here just because they have they could go so many different ways. They could get their quarterback to set themselves up for the future after Eli Manning's gone. They could go and get Saquon Barkley, the running back from Penn State, best player in the draft in most people's opinions. Quentin Nelson is also available. But I think that the pick here is probably going to be Saquon Barkley. They did bring in Jonathan Stewart, the running back from Carolina, but he's like 32 or 33 now, and I think they're going to utilize him more as like a goal line back in short yardage situations. So Saquon Barkley sets him up nicely. It gives Eli Manning another weapon on offense to go along with Odell Beckham and Brandon Marshall. So I'm really curious to see what the Giants' offense looks like next year if they can get the offensive line figured out.
Okay. With my pick at number 2, I'm going trade alert.
Very possible.
The Buffalo Bills are going to move up to number 2 with their 2 first-round picks that they have this year. They have picks 12 and 22. They're going to use those 2 along with pick 56 and move up to take the number 2 spot and take quarterback Sam Darnold, quarterback out of USC.
It's a good pick.
Buffalo Bills.
It's bold, though. Another bold pick. You got to get rid of a lot, probably a lot more than those 2 first-round picks to move up that far.
Yeah. No, 12, 22, and 56. And
You think that's all?
And maybe a 2019 draft pick.
Yeah, I would think that you probably have to throw that in there too.
Yeah, but I think somehow the Bills move up to number 2. They take Sam Darnold, quarterback out of USC. I'm with you, man. I think the Giants, if they're smart, they're going to stay put and they're going to pick a quarterback here, but they're not going to do that. Pat Shermer's already come out and said, Eli Manning's my man, yada, yada, yada. So I think they're more or less going to try to build a team around Eli Manning and try to win one really, really quick. Obviously, Saquon Barkley, if they pick him, that would just about do it. That would totally fix a lot of things on their offense. It's not going to fix that horrific offensive line, but it would fix a lot of things. And I don't know if that's everything that they need. So I think they'll trade down and get a couple more assets. And they're in more of a win now mode than a rebuild mode. So, all right. So we heard the news over the weekend of the New York Jets trading up to the number 3 spot. So with the
we gotta go do the fans pick.
Oh, the fans pick. Yeah, fans pick number 2. What'd they pick?
This was a close one. Just by a nose there. Running back Saquon Barkley was the pick by the fans, just over quarterback Josh Rosen out of UCLA.
Okay. All right.
By a nose hair.
So with the number 3 pick in the 2018 NFL Draft, the New York Giants are on the clock. And Tanner, who are they picking?
Jets.
That's what I said, didn't I? Jets?
Oh.
No.
I thought you said Giants. I'm sorry.
I might have.
I could have heard you wrong.
Jets.
It's all right. It's been a long day. The Jets are obviously going quarterback. I think that they're kind of panicking here. They wanted to move up and get a quarterback before a team like Denver does, or a Cleveland at 4. I think their guy is Baker Mayfield. I think they like him a lot. They've been rumored to like him a lot, and it's kind of another situation where Baker has the opportunity to come in and learn the system for a few years behind Teddy Bridgewater and Josh McCown, or maybe not for a few years because McCown's pretty old, but a year or two. And maybe going into his second season, he could compete for that starting job. But whoever the quarterback pick is at number 3, I don't expect that player to be starting next year.
And Baker Mayfield would fit right in with the New York media and the hype that comes along with being in New York. I mean, that's his persona. With the number 3 pick, I'm picking Josh Rosen, quarterback out of UCLA.
Okay.
But it's obviously a quarterback. So,
yeah, it's got to be.
So what are the fans picked?
The fans also went with Baker Mayfield.
Okay.
Just another nose hair race. Josh Rosen was second.
Wait, so have the fans agreed with you on every single pick so far?
So far, or am I agreeing with the fans?
So did you just copy the interactive mock draft and said, "Oh crap, I forgot to do a mock draft"?
I got my own, but actually, my first 10 picks actually, they actually equal out with the fans pretty well. They did a good job.
All right, so with the 4th pick in the 2018 NFL Draft, the Cleveland Browns are back on the clock. And who are they taking?
I think they got to go defense at this point. It's probably between the defensive back from Alabama, Micah Fitzpatrick, or the D end out of North Carolina State, Bradley Chubb. I know we were discussing a few weeks ago. He's by far the best pass rusher in this class. I would like to go differently and say that it's going to be Chubb, but I just think the versatility that Micah Fitzpatrick brings to a defensive group, he can play free safety at a high level as the position I expect him to play in the pros, but he can also drop down in the box and play the strong safety spot, and he can also play corner at a pretty high level in man coverage. So I think he's too good of a player to pass up at number 4.
Okay. So you don't have the Browns taking a quarterback in the first round?
No, I did. I had Darnold at
Oh,
one.
that's right, Darnold. God dang
Yeah.
it. All right. So number 4, I've got the Cleveland Browns, and of course, I've got Saquon Barkley, running back out of Penn State.
You got
I got
Barkley.
Barkley.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I think
Him
it's
and
going to be.
Carlos Hyde.
I
It's a
think
good
it's going to be 1,
punch
2,
combo.
3 quarterbacks, and then Barkley will be the first non-quarterback taken at number 4.
Right.
All right. What did the fans pick?
The fans also selected Minkah Fitzpatrick. Half the votes actually went to Minkah.
Okay. All right. So with the 5th pick in the 2018 NFL Draft, the Denver Broncos are on the clock.
You can't trust Case Keenum. He had a great year last year. I know I've said it a couple times now. He's a backup quarterback that had a magical run last year, and I'm sorry, Denver fans, I don't expect him to do that again. I don't think he's in the same situation he was in with Minnesota. I don't think his offensive line is as good, and I don't think his run game is going to be as good either. So you got to go quarterback. You got to think about your future. I think John Elway is already kind of processing towards the future. I still got 2 QBs on the board, 2 top 10 QBs left on the board, Josh Allen and Josh Rosen. It sounds like Denver likes Josh Allen a lot, but I'm going to go with Josh Rosen because I think he's more pro ready. And if something happens to Case Keenum, I think Josh Rosen can and play at a pretty high level.
Okay. With me, I'm going Quentin Nelson, guard out of Notre Dame, for the Denver Broncos.
Yeah, they definitely need help up front.
Yeah. And I think he's by far one of the best offensive linemen in this draft.
He is the best offensive lineman in the draft.
Yeah.
Without a doubt. Yeah. Another agreement pick, Quentin Nelson, the guard out of Notre Dame, followed closely by the linebacker out of Virginia Tech, Tremaine Edmonds.
Okay. All right. With the 9th pick in the 2018 NFL Draft, the San Francisco 49ers select.
I have them selecting the guy that was close at number 8, Tremaine Edmonds, the linebacker out of Virginia Tech. He's another linebacker. That's kind of a new breed in the NFL, if I want to say. The only player I can really think of that I can compare him to is probably Anthony Barr. He's really tall, long, and athletic, and he makes a lot of plays.
Stop being a homer.
Honestly, how many linebackers in the league are built like Barr? Really fast, 6'5".
Yeah.
So that's my closest comparison for him. So
All right.
I like him next to Reuben Foster.
I'm gonna go a little bit differently than I've seen a lot of mock drafts, and I'm giving Kyle Shanahan and Jimmy Garoppolo a new toy to play with. I'm taking Cortland Sutton, wide receiver out of SMU.
Ooh, top 10 pick, your first wideout off the board.
Yep,
Got him going before Ridley, huh?
I do.
That is bold.
That is bold.
That is so bold.
I told you weren't going to agree with my mock draft.
Well, it's all right.
All right, and who did the fans pick?
The fans selected linebacker Roquan Smith, the linebacker out of Georgia.
Okay.
So, I mean, I think that's kind of a coin flip, 9 and 10. If the Niners pick one guy at 9, the Raiders are going to select the other linebacker at 10. That's kind of how I see it. It's a coin flip.
Okay. So I guess that leads us into, with the 10th pick in the 2018 NFL Draft, the Oakland Raiders select.
Yeah, I'm flip-flopping. So my guy here at 10 for the Raiders is Roquan Smith.
Okay.
They currently have no middle linebacker. Navarro Bowman is a free agent, and he's not coming back. So they got a hole in the middle of their defense, and I like Roquan Smith.
All right. I'm going Tremaine Edmonds, linebacker out of Virginia Tech.
And the fans will agree with you in a close one by one vote.
So they picked Jermaine Edmonds?
Yeah, Tremaine Edmonds is the fan vote by 1 vote over cornerback Denzel Ward out of Ohio State.
Interesting. All right, so with the 11th pick in the 2018 NFL Draft, the Miami Dolphins select.
They got to be going quarterback.
Come on, man. You don't think Ryan Tannehill's going to be able to come back?
Yeah, well, I do think Tannehill's going to be the starter next year, but if he can't revert to form before his ACL, they got to have some insurance. And who's their backup right now? Did they sign somebody in the free agency?
I
guess I can't even.
I guess they're going to roll with Cutler. Is Matt Moore still their backup?
No, I think he's a free agent too. I think he is. I don't think they have a backup right now. I'm having a brain fart if they do. But anyways, I got Josh Allen, the quarterback out of Wyoming, going to Miami. I think him. I'd love to see what Adam Gase could do with him.
I've got Josh Allen going number 1. You have him going number 11.
The thing with Josh Allen is like he has by far the highest ceiling of any QB in the draft, but he is like the biggest boom or bust prospect in the draft as well.
Yeah.
He could be a total disaster if he doesn't go to the right team. It's kind of scary.
So I am going to pick quarterback Baker Mayfield, Oklahoma.
Yeah, they got to go QB.
Yeah. And the fans went with?
The fans picked a quarterback as well, but they went with Josh Rosen out of UCLA.
Okay. All right. With the 12th pick in the 2018 NFL Draft, the Buffalo Bills are on the clock, and they select.
The Bills moved up with Cincinnati, right? Yeah, they traded Cordy Glenn. They moved up to 12. This is tough, just because I don't want to say that another quarterback could go this high, but I think it's very possible. I'm gonna say that they go. This is where the first wideout comes off the board. Calvin Ridley, wide receiver out of Alabama. I think they're gonna get the AJ McCarron some help along with Kelvin Benjamin.
Okay. Well, don't forget, I had Buffalo moving up to number 2, so this is where the New York Giants are on my mock draft. And I have them taking Marcus Davenport, defensive end out of Texas San Antonio.
Yeah, people are going to be surprised. He's one of those names in the draft that his name's going to come across the board, and people are going to be like, who the hell is that?
Yep.
But he's a good player.
And the fans
he
picked
dominated
who?
this level of competition. The fans, this was actually a landslide, and it shocked me because I don't think he should go this early. But the fans picked quarterback Lamar Jackson out of Louisville.
I mean, you say that, but in my opinion, Lamar Jackson is the absolute best quarterback in this draft.
Well, everybody's got a different opinion. I know a lot of people like him, and I don't want people to think that I hate him, but I see a lot of uncertainties with him. I think he's a poor decision maker, but I can't deny the type of electric.
The uncertainties that I've heard a lot of people say are the same uncertainties they had about Deshaun Watson.
Yeah.
So
I mean, that's fair. Their ability is a concern too. He only weighs like 200 pounds. So
yeah. All right.
He's definitely the closest thing we've seen to Michael Vick.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So, that'll be fun.
All right, with the 13th pick in the 2018 NFL Draft, the Washington Redskins select.
This is another pick that seems like a no-brainer to me. Vita Vea. I can't even say his name, but the nose tackle out of Washington. I think he's a perfect fit in their defense. They had a real hard time stopping the run last year, and I think he can help solve that problem.
Okay. I'm going Minkah Fitzpatrick, safety out of Alabama. Safety, cornerback.
I am shocked that you have him dropping that far.
It is what it is.
That might be crazier than the the Cortland Sutton thing.
It is what it is. And who do the fans pick?
The fans also went with Vita Vea.
Vita Vea.
Or
Okay.
Vita Vea. I don't even know how you say his name, but
Yeah.
Denzel Ward was a close second, the cornerback out of Ohio State.
All right. With the 14th pick in the 2018 NFL Draft, the Green Bay Packers select.
This is another player I really like, so I hate to see him go to Green Bay, but Josh Jackson, the corner out of Iowa. This kid's ceiling is also extremely high. I think he has the potential to be a top 5 corner in this league, but it all depends on the defensive scheme that he goes into and what kind of coaching he gets. Most cornerbacks aren't successful in their first year.
Most of them aren't Marshawn Lattimore.
Yeah. Most
or Marcus Peters.
Aren't. Yeah.
Those are exceptions.
Yeah, rare exceptions.
Okay, I'm going to butcher this name.
I'll help you out.
All right. Jair Alexander, cornerback out of Louisville. Jair?
Yeah, I was actually pretty close. Jair.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah, Jair Alexander, yeah.
Jair Alexander, cornerback out of Louisville.
Yeah, that's a good pick. There's a lot of – I think the top 3 corners in this draft could all go one before the other. But
yeah,
all 3 of us have corners here at 14 of the Packers. The fans picked cornerback Denzel Ward out of Ohio State.
Okay. All right. With the 15th pick in the 2018 NFL Draft, Arizona Cardinals select.
Here's my first tackle off the board. Connor Williams, the guy out of Texas. Connor Williams is one of my draft crushes. I've seen a lot of people compare him to a young Joe Thomas. It's kind of just it's sad because he had a poor his 2017 season was poor as a whole. It looked like he took a step back from 2016 on the film, and he did battle some injuries this year as well too. But I think scouts are still pretty high on him, and the Cardinals definitely need offensive line help, especially with a guy like Sam Bradford under center. You got to keep him clean, and he's got legs made of glass, so you got to be careful.
And you don't think the Arizona Cardinals are going to go Lamar Jackson here, or any quarterback?
I just see this. That's just my thing. I mean, I think they definitely could go quarterback. I mean, I could definitely see Lamar Jackson going up the board, but I just think, in my opinion, from my standpoint, it's just too early. It just seems too early to take him. But
all right. Another name I'm about to butcher. I have Mike McGillen. God, I can't even say it. McGlinchey. I practiced that 1,000 times before we started recording this podcast. And I still butcher. I went and listened to game tape on him to hear the announcers pronounce his name 100 times so I could figure it out. I still messed it up. Offensive tackle out of Notre Dame.
Yeah, it's no secret they need O-line help.
Yep. And who did
the fans went with wide receiver Calvin Ridley out of Alabama, and it's also no secret that they need wide receiver help because after Larry Fitzgerald, they don't have anything.
All right, with the 16th pick in the 2018 NFL Draft, the Baltimore Ravens select.
I got Mike McGlinchey here.
Okay.
They just resigned James Hurst this past week or so. So they do have some insurance and security there at right tackle. But I think if they want to think long term, they need to upgrade from that spot.
All right, I have them taking Daron Payne, defensive tackle out of Alabama.
It is also worth noting, I think the Ravens are a team here that could trade down. They do have a few other holes that they could fill. Mm-hmm. Who did you say you picked?
Daron Payne, defensive tackle.
Oh, Daron Payne. Okay.
Yep. They could definitely trade down. I think they need. They have a lot of holes they need to fill.
Yeah. The fans selected Darius Geis, the running back out of LSU.
What kind of crack are they smoking in Baltimore?
I don't know, man. I don't know if Ravens fans voted on that or not, but he was actually almost 50% too voted for Geis.
Nuts.
And Alex Collins played good last year.
Very
I mean,
well.
he had a really good year.
I just don't think look, picking a running back in the first round is risky. I mean, look at Tyreek Hill and Alvin Kamara. I mean, these guys are picked in the 3rd and 4th round. You know
what? I might almost have to change my pick here on the spot on the show.
You're gonna go.
I think I'm gonna go center
for Baltimore.
They don't have a center right now, do they? I'm gonna go with James Daniels, the guy out of Iowa.
Okay,
that's gonna be my pick. I'm changing mine.
All right,
I like that. He fits the mold.
Okay. All right. With the 17th pick in the 2018 NFL Draft, the Los Angeles Chargers select
Deron Payne.
Okay.
D tackle out of Alabama. He's a heck of a player. He's really fun to watch. If you had a chance to watch the national championship game, he was popping off the screen.
Mm-hmm.
Deron Payne and
that's
Melvin
why I
Ingram.
like him going to Baltimore, man. Just being Baltimore's just known for having that real gritty,
mean tenacity,
and nasty defense. You know, he just kind of fits there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree.
And I think if the Ravens are just playing best available, I think if they're just playing their board that way, I think that this is a good spot for him where it's not a reach.
Yeah, I think he could go anywhere from 12 to 20. I expect him to go in that range, but the Chargers finished second to last in the league last year. I think it was the Titans. Only the Titans had a worse run defense. So Deron Payne's a really good run defender, and I think he'll help that defense out a lot in the middle.
All righty. And who did the fans pick?
The fans also went with Deron Payne. He covered half the votes.
Okay.
Wasn't close.
All right. Shout out to our guys over there with the Locked On Ram. Oh, no. That's – God dang. See, there's 2 LA teams. Man, it's messing me up. God dang it.
It's a mess.
It's messing me up. No shout out to them yet. I'll shout out to them later.
They're coming.
With the 18th pick in the 2018 NFL Draft, the Seattle Seahawks select.
Oh, this is tough. Just because I think they have to go all line here, don't you?
I mean, it's your pick. I'll tell you who I picked after you pick.
Yeah, I'm gonna go. People might bash me for this just because of his injury that he just suffered, but I think the center Billy Price, the center out of Ohio State, I think that's a good pick for them here. He brings a mean tenacity to the offense, and I think they need some interior help badly.
Okay, I'm going Isaiah Wynn, the guard/center from Georgia.
Yeah, they definitely need.
And you know what I just realized? I didn't even tell my LA Chargers pick.
Yeah, you should probably do that.
Yeah, I went Vita V.
Vita Villa?
Yeah.
Vita
Villa. Yeah, I went him. Yeah. All right, and who did the fans pick for Seattle?
The fans went corner. They selected the cornerback Josh Jackson out of Iowa.
Okay.
To replace
Iowa
Richard
people
Sherman,
coming off
I'm
the
guessing.
board between you and the fans. All right. With the 19th pick in the 2018 NFL Draft, the Dallas Cowboys select. And before you say it, I just want to mention there's one team out of 32 teams, there's one team that is yet to sign somebody in free agency. And that's the Dallas Cowboys. I do not understand how they're always broke and can't afford to pay anybody. They have nobody on this team that's worth a damn, and they have no money.
Oh, we're going to lose ratings.
I don't care. They've got all their money tied up into 3 offensive linemen and a defensive end and a declining wide receiver.
$17 million for DeMarcus Lawrence.
Yeah, and a $16 million for a declining wide receiver, $9 million for a garbage tight end.
Yeah.
Like, don't hate me, but I'm call it how it is. Jason Witten is not a good tight end anymore. He is bottom of the barrel in the tight end market now.
Mm-hmm.
Sean Lee can't stay on the field. They're committing $10 or $11 million to him. He can't even stay on the field. I mean, now that I'm thinking about it, I see where all their money's tied up at. Crazy. Okay, so who did the Cowboys pick?
I actually had a different player originally, but this was actually one of the picks where we actually had some interaction with the fans. And I was told that they're for surely going wide receiver. So I switched mine last minute. I'm going with Cortland Sutton, the wide out from SMU.
Okay.
Put somebody across from Dez.
Okay. I'm going Roquan Smith, linebacker out of Georgia.
Oh, that's another player that really dropped on your board.
Yes, he did. And I think, and it's not that I think he's a bad player and that he should drop, and I'm not even saying that he will. I'm thinking that the first couple teams for sure, we are all knowing going quarterback. There, a lot of these teams at the top of the draft aren't playing their board and best available. They're drafting to fill needs, which, as history shows us, teams that draft to fill needs continue to be at the top of the draft. And that's why year in and year out, we have a lot of the same teams at the top of the draft because they're drafting to fill needs.
That's interesting because what do you think happens with Jalen Smith then? Going to be out of the league in a few years? Because I don't think he's been anything special, to be honest with you, so far.
Yeah.
Which is sad to say, but
yeah.
Anyways, the fans also went linebacker. The Cowboys, Rashawn Evans out of Alabama was the pick.
Okay. With the 20th pick in the 2018 NFL Draft, the Detroit Lions select
Maurice Hurst, the defensive tackle out of Michigan. I didn't want to change it just because I've seen so many ties to his name rumored with the Lions, and I mean, he's from Michigan. Not from Michigan, but he played college ball in Michigan. But yeah, he did. For those that don't know, got sent home from the combine. Medical doctors at the combine found something wrong with his heart. He has some type of condition that could prevent him from playing football, I guess, in the future, or it could affect his life if he does decide to play. I think it's somewhat similar to Nick Fairley's situation.
Yeah, I was about to say that sounds super similar to a player I'm familiar with.
Yeah, that's what I've heard, anyways. But I'm keeping that for now, just because I haven't heard that he's going to drop. But it wouldn't surprise me if he dropped out of the first round. I mean, he's got talent. He's a really good player.
Yeah. All right. So full disclosure, I kind of started working on this mock draft early last week, and I thought about changing this pick, but I said, nah, screw it. I'm keeping it because the person that they brought in to fill this position is really old, and they still need to get younger there. So I'm going Detroit Lions, Sony Mitchell, running back out of Georgia.
It's a good pick. I don't know if it'll happen just because the Lions have so many damn running backs. It's not even funny.
They do.
They literally have so many running backs.
And they just brought in
Blunt.
LeGarrette Blunt. So that's what made me want to change it. But I said, man, they still need to get better and younger.
They brought in LeGarrette Blunt to be a goal line back, and they have Amir Abdullah, Theo Riddick, Zach Zenner, Dwayne Washington, and Tion Green. Wait, is Dwayne Washington in the Lions? Do I have that right?
I have no idea.
I can't remember if it's the Lions or the Raiders.
I still think they need to get better at running back.
Yeah, they have. Oh, I mean, I definitely think they need to upgrade. I just think it's crazy how many backs they have. They should either part ways with the ones you have now or upgrade. I mean, one of the two. The fans also went with Maurice Hurst. It was this was actually one of the closer polls. So each poll we gave the fans, we did 4 players, and then the fans got to pick which one they thought would be the best choice. And all 4 of these players were actually really close. Maurice Hurst won, but Dallas Goedert, the tight end out of SDSU, center James Daniels out of Iowa, and the corner Isaiah Oliver out of Colorado were all right there behind Hurst.
Yeah.
So that was a fun poll.
All right. With the 21st pick in the 2018 NFL Draft, the Cincinnati Bengals select
I forgot to change this on my thing because I forgot that the Bills traded up. So I had the Bills here slated, so I got to pull one off the top of my head real quick.
All right. Well, while you're thinking about it, I'm gonna
Yeah,
go.
go ahead.
I'm gonna go James Daniels, center out of Iowa.
Okay, yeah, they are a team. They're one of a few teams that do need a center, so that makes a lot of sense. But my top two centers are already off the board, so I can't even say a center. I'm just gonna go defensive end Marcus Davenport, the defensive end out of Texas San Antonio. Michael Johnson's getting up there, in the years. He's getting a little long in the tooth, so I think it's probably time to start looking for a replacement for him across from Carlos Dunlap.
Okay. And who did the fans pick at 21?
The fans went with Connor Williams, the tackle out of Texas.
Okay.
I'm guessing if he gets drafted, he'd play right tackle because they just traded for Cordy Glenn to play left tackle. So that would help Andy Dalton immensely if they could land Williams.
Yep. All right. So with the 22nd pick in the 2018 NFL Draft, the Buffalo Bills select.
I have them go Rashawn Evans here, the linebacker out of Alabama.
Yeah.
I've actually seen a lot of people or draft analysts compare Rashawn Evans to Lorenzo Alexander, the linebacker that's already there in Buffalo, because he brings a lot of pass rushing value as well from a 4-3 spot. So I think Alexander's like 33 or 34, so that's actually pretty old for a linebacker, so he'd be the perfect replacement.
Yeah.
Literally.
Do not forget that I had the Buffalo Bills trading to number 2. So in doing so, this is the New York Giants in my mock draft. And I'll also have them take in Rashawn Evans, linebacker out of Alabama.
Oh, that worked out weird.
Same player, different team.
Oh, they need linebacker help bad too, so that's a good pick for the Giants.
Yeah. And who'd the fans pick at 22?
The fans went with Davenport. He's a hot commodity. Marcus Davenport, the D end out of Texas San Antonio.
Okay.
Get some pass rushing help.
All right.
Yeah,
Now,
Shaq Lawson's been a major disappointment in Buffalo so far.
Now I can say shout out to my guys over at the Locked On Rams podcast.
James and Bear.
With the 23rd pick in the 2018 NFL Draft, the Los Angeles Rams select.
I didn't change this. I had them going corner.
No.
Isaiah Oliver. Yeah, that's what I originally had.
Come on, you got to change that.
Yeah, I guess I could go with the fans because the fans made a good pick. The fans are going with edge rusher Harold Landry out of Boston College to replace Robert Quinn, so I can see that too.
Okay, I'm going Sam Hubbard, defensive end out of Ohio State.
Ooh, another player that'd be early for him.
Sam Hubbard, defensive end, Ohio State.
All
right. So with the 24th pick in the 2018 NFL Draft, the Carolina Panthers select
Christian Kirk, the wide receiver out of Texas A&M. I've heard that this is another guy that's had his name linked to one team so far, and it seems like it's been the Panthers and the Cowboys. So the fans also picked Christian Kirk, and it wasn't close. It was a landslide, actually.
All right.
So they need some wide receiver help.
They do. God, do they. They do need wide receiver help, but I'm going defense, and I'm selecting Dante Jackson, cornerback out of LSU.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the one spot they need to upgrade on defense. They also need to upgrade their offensive line tremendously. So
yeah,
I could also see a guy like Isaiah Wynn or Will Hernandez also going to Carolina at 24.
Yeah. All right. With the 25th pick in the 2018 NFL Draft, the Tennessee Titans select.
I know I just said I had Isaiah Oliver going to the Rams, and I forgot to change that, so that's my fault. I ended up going with the Rams or the fans on Harold Landry, but this is where I originally had Landry before moving him up to Tennessee. I don't have a whole lot to say about it. I guess they need some pass rushing help too, I guess.
I'll also select Harold Landry, defensive end out of Boston College.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the fans went with
This was a close one by one vote. Linebacker Leighton Vander Esch out of Boise State
Ooh, that's
was
a
the
reach.
pick over Cortland Sutton, the wide receiver from SMU,
That's a reach.
by one vote. I don't know. His name's been picking up steam after the combine.
Okay.
He's a pretty long, athletic dude, so we'll see. We'll see what happens with that.
All right. With the 26th pick in the 2018 NFL Draft, the Atlanta Falcons select
Isaiah Wynn, staying in state in the great state of Georgia, right, Chris?
Yeah. You say so.
I think Falcons fans are going to find out soon that Brandon Fusco is not the answer at right guard. So I think they need to have some insurance there, and Isaiah Wynn's the perfect guy for that. He's got some flexibility. He actually has experience at all five positions on the front. So if somebody gets hurt, I mean, he can fill in right away. It's a good pick for them.
Yep, I'm going Taven Bryan, defensive tackle out of Florida.
Okay.
Yep. And who?
Yeah, Taven Bryan.
Go ahead.
Yeah, Taven Bryan finished second in the fan vote, and Isaiah Wynn was the fan vote for the Falcons. So we were all pretty much in agreement on that one.
Yep. All right.
Here we go.
With the 20, I'm going first on this one. Okay.
All right.
Because I have a feeling we picked the same player, and I just want to be the one to say it first. With the 27th pick in the 2018 NFL Draft, the New Orleans Saints select quarterback Lamar Jackson, Louisville.
Oh, we didn't pick the same player.
Oh, we didn't?
No, get out of here.
Lamar Jackson.
Taysom Hill was the man.
The quarterback of the future will finally be selected.
I thought Taysom Hill was the man.
Taysom Hill is the man, but he has yet to throw a pass. So give me a quarterback while we're in this position. Look, this is the first time in my lifetime. Okay, so I'm 30 years old. Been watching the Saints my entire life. I cannot remember a draft where they are going to go in and not really need to pick day one starters.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they still need to get find another linebacker or defensive tackle in free agency, or a slot wide receiver, a tight end. Like, maybe, but I mean, I think they can roll into the season with exactly what they have, and it's not going to be an issue. So this is the first time, literally, they can play their board. They can pick literally whoever they want, and it doesn't matter because they don't need a day one starter at this pick.
Mm-hmm.
So what better time to pick a quarterback when you don't need a quarterback to start and you really have no other positions of need?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's some places they need a little bit of depth, but this is the perfect time to pick a quarterback. So Lamar Jackson, quarterback out of Louisville. And look, I'm not counting out them trading up and getting Baker Mayfield or Josh Rosen. I will tell you this. Sean Payton doesn't go to a whole lot of pro days. And when he does, there's usually a direct correlation of the Saints picking them or it leaking that they were going to pick said player. And he was at UCLA's pro day last week.
Oh, really? Man, you guys have to jump pretty far to get Rosen.
Yeah, we'd have to jump really far. But I'm just letting you know, he was at Patrick Mahomes' pro day, and they were going to take him had the Kansas City Chiefs not traded one spot ahead of him to take him. He was at Alvin Kamara's pro day. They selected him. I'm just telling you, there's a direct correlation to when Peyton is at a pro day and players they select. Or rumored to
Drew Brees is here for the win now, but you definitely have to start thinking long term.
Yeah. So, all right. So, what do you got?
I'm not changing my pick here. I'm Dallas Goedert's spokesperson, and I would love to see him and the Saints offense. So that's my pick.
Okay.
It'd be so fun, so dynamic.
It would be,
I'd love to
and
see it. I'd love to see how he'd be
that's who
used.
that's who I really really want them to pick, and they might do it if they don't address tight end or a slot wide receiver. They might actually pick that as a position of need to get a day one starter.
Mhm.
So I mean, but I mean, God, they may not ever be in this position draft wise, not needing a day one starter.
Right.
And I just find it hard to believe they're going to pass on a quarterback here. So, and who did the fans pick?
Dallas Goddard was also 50% of the votes. For what it's worth, the next guy in line was at 30%. Safety Ronnie Harrison out of Bama.
They don't
My
need a
guess
safety.
that would be a Kenny Vaccaro replacement.
Yeah, but they signed Kurt Coleman and Patrick Robinson. They replaced Kenny Vaccaro with two people. And Kenny Vaccaro is still out there. They could still sign him.
Strong?
What's that?
Isn't Kenny Vaccaro strong? He plays box, don't he?
Yeah. So here's the thing with Kenny Vaccaro is he's a jack of all trades, a master of none. He's not really good at anything. He's just okay at a lot of things, and he's pretty versatile.
Mm-hmm.
And so, he's not really that good covering the slot. He's okay at it, but he's definitely not the best. So that's where Patrick Robinson comes in. And then dropping back in coverage, blitzing, defending the run. He's okay, not great. So I think that's where Kurt Coleman's going to come in.
Mm-hmm.
I think his leadership skills are slightly overrated. I think that's where Kurt Coleman will come in. You still have Von Bell on the roster. I just don't see Kenny Vaccaro being needed with this team or really any team. That's why he's still out there. Someone's going to get him for cheap.
Mm-hmm.
And he's going to wish he took the Saints offer to stay. So.
Okay. All right.
All right. With the 28th pick in the 2018 NFL Draft, the Pittsburgh Steelers select.
This is where I have Leighton Vander Esch fallen. Or not fallen, but I think it's going to be kind of an early second-round pick, late first. I could see him going in the first round, and the Steelers definitely need some linebacker help. They signed John Bostic a few days ago, and that kind of seemed like a desperation signing, in my opinion, just because I don't think John Bostic is very good. And if Ryan Shazier can't ever return to the field, you need to have a guy there in place for the long-term ride. And I think he can do that.
Yep, I'm also going.
He kind of compares to Ryan Shazier. He's really fast, long, instinctive.
I'm also going Leighton Vander here, linebacker out of Boise State. So
yeah. The fans were almost split on this one between two players. Safety Ronnie Harrison out of Alabama was the pick, but just by 2 votes over quarterback Mason Rudolph out of Oklahoma State.
Really?
So could we see 6 quarterbacks, maybe 7 quarterbacks go in the first round?
God, I don't think so. I don't think
it would definitely be a shock, but
I mean,
you got to think Pittsburgh, if they want to get their guy, because I mean, who knows how much longer Ben's going to play? Is the guy that the next guy on their roster?
No,
I don't think so either. So that wouldn't shock me, actually.
Yeah,
that's early. That's early for Rudolph, but I mean that wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah, me either. But way too early. It's not going to happen. All right, with the 29th pick in the 2018 NFL Draft, the Jacksonville Jaguars select.
This is where I have Lamar Jackson coming off the board. I think 2018, will be Blake Bortles' last year as a Jaguar. I think he'll be a free agent next year. They'll probably cut him. And Lamar Jackson will take the ranks. Him and Leonard Fournette in the same backfield would be super fun. I couldn't even tell you how to defend an option game like that.
That would be really fun. I'm going slightly different. I'm going wide receiver Calvin Ridley out of Alabama.
Man, I can't believe you got him rolling that far. That is funny. You never know, though.
And who did this fan select? And shout out to my boy
this
Zach
was-
at the Locked On Jags podcast.
Oh, yeah. What's up, Zach? This was actually a tie here. This was the only tie in all the polls that we ran. The fans were split on Mason Rudolph, the quarterback out of Oklahoma State, and Cortland Sutton, the wide receiver out of SMU. For what it's worth, I should note that Jaguars did cut Allen Hurts today. He's a free agent.
Yeah.
So they could be back to the drawing board for a while.
Yeah. All right. And here we go with the 30th pick
Yes, sir.
in the 2018 NFL Draft. The Minnesota Vikings select.
They're trading out.
Get out of here.
I'm calling it right now. I can tell you all that the Vikings will not pick at 30.
Get out of here.
Rick Spielman says it every single freaking year that he wants at least 10 picks. And the Vikings are currently sitting at one of the lowest in the draft, actually. I guess we have quite a few comp picks. I'm just going to say comp picks. We got 3 or 4 comp picks, but I think without them, we're sitting at like 4 or 5 picks in the draft. So I think he's going to want to trade out. He's a guy that really likes to draft for depth and maybe 1 or 2 immediate starters. And this is a really deep interior offensive line class. So if they do pick here, I'm going to pick the next best offensive line on the board. Isaiah Wynn's gone, and Billy Price is gone, and James Daniels, Quentin Ellis, and all those guys are all gone now. So Will Hernandez, the bowling ball out of UTEP, is the next best guy on the board. So that's my pick at 30.
I'm also going Will Hernandez. So
It just seems like it's a they also could go best player available. I don't know if Hernandez will be the best player available there at 30. I could also see a running back being the best player available, but with Dalvin Cook already on the team, I don't think that's a way that they would go, because I think Ronald Jones is a really good player too, but they're not going to want to select a running back. I could also see a corner. The Vikings currently only have 3 corners on their roster. Xavier Rhodes, Trey Waynes, and Mackenzie Alexander, the pick from a few years ago. So they do need to get deeper in that position as well.
Yep. And all right. So with the 31st pick in the 2018 NFL Draft, the New England Patriots select.
I also don't believe that the Patriots are going to pick here. It seems like Bill Belichick is here in this spot every single year. He's at 31, or 32. And he always trades out. And this Patriots team is a little different from the ones in the past. I think they have more holes than they've had in the past. So he's going to want to trade out and fill some of those holes with depth players in the 2nd and 3rd rounds. But if they do pick here, I have cornerback Dante Jackson out of LSU as my guy.
Okay. I have them going Colton Miller, offensive tackle, UCLA.
Yep. Yeah, they definitely could go offensive line too. Nate Solder is now a New York Giant, so he won't be back. And Tom Brady does not have a blindside protector at this current moment. So I don't have, but the fans picked Mike McGlinchey, the tackle out of Notre Dame. I don't think he'll fall that far, but that is the pick.
Okay.
For the Pats at 31.
And finally, with the 32nd pick in the 2018 NFL Draft, your Super Bowl winning Philadelphia Eagles select
Big Vic. Are you listening?
Big Vic,
Victor.
the sports Greek. He's gonna hate us if we don't make this pick right.
I like them going tight end. They lost 2 of their tight ends in free agency, Trey Burton and Brent Selleck. So Zach Ertz actually had a tough time keeping healthy last year. So just in case he does get hurt, I think they need to have some depth. It also wouldn't hurt to bring in a tight end that's got some blocking value as well. So I'm going with tight end Mike Gesicki out of Penn State.
Okay. I am going with DJ Moore.
Oh, the wideout?
Wide receiver, Maryland.
Wow. Yeah, you're just full of surprises, aren't you?
DJ Moore, wide receiver out of Maryland.
It's worth noting that they could be in the market for a running back as well. I know that LeGarrette Blount's gone, so the fans actually went with Sony Michel from Georgia.
Okay.
Goal line back, somebody to replace Blount.
So you will notice by my mock draft a couple notable players did slip out. Christian Kirk being one of them. Godart being another one. Who else? There was a third one that dropped out of my first round.
You didn't have Geis at all. That kind of surprised me.
Yeah, I didn't have Geis. I don't think he's a first-round talent.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
There's actually some scouts that have him in the top 10.
Really?
I don't have him in the top 10, but yeah, there are some people out there that have him in the top 10.
We shall see. We shall see. That's why we do mock drafts. None of us are the actual general managers. We just try to figure it out. All right.
You didn't say James Daniels either, did you?
I did not. No, yes, I did. Who did I have James Daniels going to? Yeah, Cincinnati, 21.
Oh, okay.
I can't. There's somebody else. There's somebody else.
Connor Williams? Did you say Connor Williams?
Did not say Connor Williams.
Yeah, dude, he's the best tackle in the draft. That's my opinion, by the way. So that's one.
Yeah, I guess I did drop Connor Williams completely out. Well, there you go. All right. Well, anyways, we will get these mock drafts posted on allpronation.com. Be sure to go to allpronation.com. Check it out. Interact with us. There's a comment section on the website, or you will post them on Twitter as well. Interact with us. Tell us what you think, what you disagree with, what you would do differently. This is a fun time of the year where a lot of fan interaction is really going to make this a lot more fun. So,
absolutely.
Yeah, so check us on the Facebook and the Twitters at allpronation, and, of course, at allpronation.com. All right. So now, ladies and gentlemen, we will welcome you to a new edition of the Bachelor NFL edition.
Ooh.
The Bachelor NFL edition sees our Bachelor, Ndamakung Suh. I can't even say his name.
Ndamakung Suh.
I can't say it.
Ndamakung.
Ndamakung Suh. There it is. I say it right. Our Bachelor, Ndamakung Suh. And he has before him the Saints, the Rams, the Titans, and the Seahawks.
And the Raiders. The Raiders now, too.
Who will he give the final rose to? Find out next week on the NFL's Bachelor.
I actually got to say I'm absolutely shocked that the Colts did not request an interview.
Yeah, me too.
And just throw $20 million at him because they got the cap now to do it too.
So here, let me break this down for you. One, the Rams make a lot of sense in the aspect that they have a lot of money, and they're going to have $100 million in cap space next year.
And they can win right now.
Ndamakung Suh goes there, they will probably win the Super Bowl next year, barring
easy
barring any major injuries. I think they would have to be the favorite.
Chris, you keep neglecting Minnesota's D-line. I'm
so tired of talking about Minnesota. Go out, get out of here with that skull crap.
Oh, I'm just getting after it this week.
So, anyways, but here's the issue with LA. One, they've got to pay Aaron Donald like now. I mean, I guess they could go into next year then franchise tag him, but you don't want to do that to the face of your franchise. And is Aaron Donald really going to be happy if Ndamakung Suh gets paid before him? You know, now can you imagine that defensive line with Suh and Aaron Donald and Brockers?
And then you got probably a draft pick coming off the edge, and I think they're talking about bringing Connor Barwin too back actually.
Yeah, and then you got Then you got Aqib Talib and Marcus Peters and dude, Wade Phillips,
Marcus Joyner.
LaMarcus Joyner. God, I even forgot about. How do you forget about LaMarcus? God, I mean, it's just, that defense will be scary.
Be a lot of fun.
Scary. So, and then of course he lives in Seattle. He's from Portland, so got to throw that in there. I don't think Seattle is interested at all. I think
they can't afford him.
One, they can't afford him. Two, they need help on the offensive side of the ball. And three, they're trading away all their loudmouth, expensive players. So they don't need. They're not going to invest in another loudmouth, expensive player. So I think Seattle's out. I think the Rams are very, very intriguing. The Titans are. I mean, they just released. What was their defensive tackle's name? They just released.
Carl Klug.
Who?
Carl Klug?
No.
The Titans just released a D tackle named Carl Klug. Oh, Sylvester Williams.
Huh?
Sylvester Williams?
No.
Yeah, he's their nose tackle, Sylvester Williams. He's got a visit with the Redskins like tomorrow, I think.
Well, that's not who I'm talking about. Godly. Hold on. I've got to.
Are we talking about the same team?
The Tennessee Titans.
Yeah, Sylvester Williams.
No, that's not who I'm thinking about. God, his name is escaping me. Hold on. I'm looking this up.
You're killing me, Chris.
Hankins. God, jeez. I didn't even have to.
He didn't play for the Titans. Played for the Colts last year.
Did he? Oh, he sure did.
They're in the same division.
Okay, my bad. My bad.
Sylvester Williams was the nose tackle for Tennessee.
My bad, fam. My bad. It gets very confusing covering 32 NFL teams.
Yeah, it can be tough at times.
My bad, fam. My bad. I'm gonna catch so much heat on that on Twitter. Y'all stay out of my mentions on that one. Okay, I made a mistake.
We forgive you.
Okay.
We forgive you.
All right. Well, anyway, Suh going though. They need defensive line help. They need to stop the run. They were terrible in the run game, run defense last year.
Last in the league, actually.
What's that?
Last in the league, actually.
Yeah, and so so having Suh there would definitely improve the run defense. I think with the culture Mike Vrabel's got going on there, I think Suh would fit in there. They could afford to pay him. And then, of course, you got the Saints. I think he would fit in great there. Good organization. He would be the missing piece on what's already a pretty dominant defense. So I think if you want to win now, it's between the Rams and the Saints. Mm-hmm. If you want the money, it's between the Rams and Oakland. And if you want to go where you're probably the best fit, you're probably going to Tennessee.
I wouldn't say that.
No?
Tennessee runs a 3-4 defense. I mean, I don't know how. I mean, he can play 3-4. Don't get me wrong. He'd be a rush end, just like Aaron Donald is now. But I think he's best as a 4-3 tech defensive tackle.
Yeah.
So honestly, I would say that the Saints are probably the best fit. Saints or the Raiders, but that's my opinion.
Yeah. So we'll see. He's probably going to make the decision next week. He's loving this cross-country tour he's making and all the media attention he's getting. Oh,
yeah, I'm sure he is.
So freaking ridiculous. So ridiculous.
I'm not a big fan of Suh for anybody that cares.
I mean, personality-wise, but football-wise, get him on my team.
You like the dirty players, huh?
Hey, I think Suh's reputation of a dirty player is greatly overblown.
Oh, the past 2 years it probably is because he's kept his nose clean. But when he was in Detroit, he was definitely not overrated. He was by far the dirtiest player in the league.
I mean, what are you talking about? One time that he stomped on somebody?
No, he's done multiple things against like the Vikings, taking some cheap shots in the nuts.
Whatever.
I'm just saying, man.
Speaking of the Vikings, they brought in Sheldon Richardson on a 1-year deal. I think that's a good move. One thing that I was saying at the end of last year was the Vikings' defensive line depth is just garbage, and you could tell. You could tell that like Everson Griffin was racking up the sacks at the beginning of the season, and then it's like he just slowed down out of nowhere. They just had no depth on the defensive line. So
Yeah, I got a stat for y'all. Everson Griffin played 97% of the team's total defensive snaps last season.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
That's way too many.
That's a lot.
That's no depth, no rotation.
So Sheldon Richardson, that's a good signing. Of course, since our last podcast, the whole free agency period has happened, come and gone, really, the first wave. But we talked about a lot of the moves that were we knew 90% of the moves already during that tampering period. It was wild. The tampering period was wild this year. You might as well have just called that free agency.
Yeah, it was fun.
So I'm trying to think right now if did anything happen once free agency officially started on Wednesday that we didn't already suspect, any like blockbuster signings that may have caught you off guard? I can't really think of anything.
Yeah, I don't think that there really
like
was.
all the big stuff we knew during the tampering.
Honestly, one of them that was really a lot bigger than others that I was really surprised by was probably Sammy Watkins to Kansas City.
Mm-hmm.
That surprised me a little bit.
What about the Ryan Grant not fail a physical so they could bring in Michael Crabtree once he was released in Baltimore?
Yeah, that's crazy. Rashad Breeland had one too with the Panthers.
Yeah. Ryan Grant, ladies and gentlemen, actually did not fail his physical. They just marked it as a failed physical so they wouldn't have to honor the contract. And they could do that because they agreed to the contract during the tampering period, which leads me to believe, do you think the NFL is going to make teams honor contracts they do during the tampering period to prevent that from happening? Because Michael Crabtree didn't get released until free agency. So they went after Ryan Grant. Now, mind you, I think Ryan Grant's actually a better wide receiver personally. He's younger. He's more in the prime of his career than Michael Crabtree is.
Mm-hmm.
But so I think they would have been better off with Ryan Grant. But, they felt like, oh, well, here's this other shiny thing, and we want this instead of what we already got, so we're going to return it. A.k.a. say he failed a physical.
I actually do have two more that I'd like to throw out there.
What's that?
One, we should talk about the Honey Badger a little bit.
Oh,
he's
that
going
was
to
wild,
Houston.
Huh? Yeah, that was wild.
Yeah, he had as soon as he got released, there was a report that came out that the first night that he was a free agent that said that there was over a dozen teams that called to inquire about him. I'm guessing that him signing in Houston had a lot to do with J.J. Watt. That's just my personal opinion. I knew that he heavily recruited him, but I'm just kind of surprised. He said that he wanted to go somewhere that had a good football culture. And, I mean, nothing against Texans fans, but, I mean, Houston's been a franchise for, 15 years?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's not like you have a history of winning or anything like that. It just kind of surprised me. I mean, they're going to be good. The Texans will be good next year. If they're going to get a lot of pieces back. So he's going to a good situation, but even for what he signed for, just kind of surprised me. I thought he'd go somewhere to a team that's winning right now and can compete right now for a Super Bowl right now and get paid at the same time.
Look,
like 10 plus million.
The Honey Badger broke my heart. I'm about to read you a text that I sent to a buddy of mine Wednesday. All right, so I'm looking at this text. I sent it Wednesday at 1:15 p.m. Timeline of the last 24 hours in regards to Honey Badger. 1. Honey Badger says on NOLA radio yesterday that if he were to be cut, he'd be interested in coming to NOLA. 2. Saints miss out on Malcolm Butler.
He's from New Orleans, ain't he?
He is.
Yeah.
Number 2. Saints miss out on Malcolm Butler. Number 3. Saints set up meeting with Dominic Rodgers-Cromartie. Number 4. Honey Badger comes to NOLA for a charity event downtown scheduled for Wednesday. Number 5, Honey Badgers released after refusing a pay cut for the broke-ass Cardinals. Just happened just a few minutes ago. Number 6, Saints cancel visit with Dominic Rodgers-Cromartie. Number 7, how does this end? Saints got to be bringing him home, huh?
Probably.
That's what I sent my text to, and we went on, for like an hour debate on if we thought he was actually going to come back.
I forgot that he was a free agent still.
Well, he wasn't a free agent. He was cut. He was cut Wednesday, right before the league year started.
Bro, I thought you were talking about DRC.
DRC, yeah. I was talking about the Honey Badger.
I'm sorry. DRC's still a free agent, too. That shocks the hell out of me.
No, he got signed.
By who?
I think he did.
Oh, I must have missed it then.
Where did he go?
I know he had a meeting with Washington like last week, and then some reporter texted him, and he said he's no longer taking visits, and then he never signed with anybody after that. I thought.
Oh, well,
that's what I thought.
Maybe that's what I'm thinking of.
Maybe he don't want to play football anymore.
Dominic Rodgers-Cromartie.
So,
no, he is a free agent. You're right.
Yeah, I'm surprised he's still a free agent.
Yeah, he'll get picked up. There's still a lot of good players that are free agents still.
Oh, yeah.
Eric Reed.
Eric Reed.
Yeah.
Eric Reed's the guy that
Eric Reed's
to
getting
mind.
blackballed because of his anthem protest, and let's call it for what it is.
Yeah.
He's getting.
He is.
He's getting blackballed.
Jeremy Maclin,
Jeremy
wide receiver from Baltimore, still free agent.
Yeah. Kenny Vaccaro.
Jack Mewhort.
Yeah.
The guard out of Indianapolis. He's a free agent.
So there's still a lot of good players out there. So there's some teams going to be making some moves in the second and third wave of free agency that's about to come. But the big stuff.
Oh, EJ Gaines. That's another one too.
Yeah, but the big stuff's already happened. There's not going to be any more blockbuster, record-setting contracts happening.
Not till draft night.
Yeah, and
somebody's gonna get traded.
Well, that could happen. I imagine that sometime between now and the start of the season, Aaron Donald's going to get a contract extension.
Mm-hmm.
Aaron Rodgers, Matt Ryan, I think they're going to probably get extended. So, I mean, those are going to be some blockbuster moves. But in general, I don't see a lot of big stuff happening. I think this second and third wave is going to be pretty quiet, personally. Don't forget, you can go to allpronation.com, click on the free agency tracker, and you can catch on all the stuff going on around the NFL in regards to free agency. Keep up their live updates, so you can keep hitting your refresher button and refreshing that feed. So. All right, I guess we're going to move right on into NFL news and other topics. So, I got a big one. Can I start or?
Yep, feel free.
Actually,
I don't have a lot this week, so go ahead.
Actually, I'll let you start because I don't think you're going to mention mine. So I'll let you start.
All right. For those that don't know, Browns left tackle Iron Man Joe Thomas has officially retired.
Yeah.
The Browns are looking for a left tackle this offseason. The Broncos traded quarterback Trevor Siemian to the Vikings for a 2019 late pick.
My boy Trevor Siemian.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah. For also those that don't know or just start listening to All Pro Nation podcast, Chris is a big Trevor Siemian fan. Tanner is not. But he is now because he's a Viking. But, I mean, I was not a fan of him in Denver. Texans tight end C.J. Fedorowicz has retired as well. He suffered 3 concussions in the 2017 season. I think it's just got to be too much for him, and he'd like to be able to remember his when he gets to be 50 years old. After coming out and saying that they were going to cut him or trade him, the Rams have decided to keep wide receiver Tavon Austin. He is due $8 million this year. What do you think, Chris? Stupid move?
Stupid move. I would have kept Sammy Watkins.
The Rams actually, I mean, after Cooper Kupp and Robert Woods, they really don't have a whole lot.
Yeah.
For wide receivers. Not any proven guys, anyways.
I would have kept Sammy Watkins and let Tavon Austin go, but.
Yeah, me too. The Browns traded cornerback Jason McCourty to reunite with his brother in New England. The Patriots and the Browns will swap 6th and 7th round picks.
So the Wonder Twins are back
they basically
together.
they basically got McCourty for nothing.
Yeah, but McCourty's in decline. You know, if you would have asked me when they came out into the draft, I would have picked him over his brother. He was definitely better earlier in his career than Devin McCourty was, but now here at the tail end of their career, Devin McCourty's better than Jason McCourty. So
yeah, I agree. The 49ers traded center Daniel Kilgore to the Dolphins for a 7th round pick. They also got him for virtually nothing as well. Sad retirement. Running back Danny Woodhead is officially retired. He's going to be 33, I think, coming up here pretty soon.
Can I tell you a little something a little shocking? I had no idea Danny Woodhead was still playing football.
Oh, he's hurt all the time.
No idea.
I think.
I was like, wait, he's retired? Did he not retire like 5 years ago?
Yeah, he got hurt in Los Angeles, I think, and then he signed with the Ravens last year, and I think he got hurt like week 1 or something like that, week 1 or week 2. Yeah. So I just think injuries got to be too much for him. But Danny Woodhead in his prime was actually really fun to watch.
Really fun to watch.
Super fast white dude. The Jets, we already covered this pretty much, but the Jets officially traded up for the 3rd overall pick in the draft. It's expected that they're going to pick a quarterback. My boy Cordell Patterson got traded from the Raiders to the Patriots for a 5th round pick. Sorry.
That's going to be fun too.
Oh my gosh, I can't wait to see Patterson in the New England offense.
I have a feeling that they're not going to use him much in offense. I have a feeling he's going to be more of a special teams guy, but I hope they turn him into a running back and do some jet sweeps and stuff. And
I think if a team's going to utilize him the way he should be used, it's definitely going to be the Patriots. But getting reps at the wide receiver position is going to be really tough for him because they're stocked at wide receiver right now. They got Brandon Cooks, Julian Edelman's coming back. They got Chris Hogan, Kenny Britt, Malcolm Mitchell, and Philip Dorsett too, the other speedster. So they got lots of weapons. But Cordell Patterson will definitely get his touches. I'm excited to see him play this year.
Yeah.
What else we got? Oh yeah, 2 cuts today. The Jaguars cut wide receiver Allen Hurns. That freed up $7 million in cap space. And they also parted ways with tight end Mercedes Lewis, who was with the team for, I think, 10 seasons already. He's been in the league for a long time.
He was the face of their franchise for the longest time, for sure.
Yeah, him and MJD.
Yeah.
I think they were drafted in the same year, same class, and they went to college together, too. So that's all I got for these.
All right. Are you ready for some football? Now, I'm not talking about the NFL.
Oh, my God.
And I'm not talking about the XFL. I'm talking about the Alliance of American Football.
I am ready for it.
The Alliance of American. So, for those of you who haven't heard yet, the Alliance of American Football is being headed by Charlie Ebersol. I believe I'm pronouncing that name right. And Charlie Ebersol was the director of the ESPN 30 for 30 documentary that came out last year about the XFL. His father was a partner with Vince McMahon in the original XFL. And he has been quietly putting together a freaking all-star team of people to help him run the Alliance of American Football. So, the Alliance of the American Football is is being the overall business side of it is going to be run by former NFL executive slash GM slash current ESPN anchor Bill Polian, while the player side of it is going to be headed by former Pittsburgh Steelers safety Troy Polamalu, J.K. McCabe, former player out of USC, and he was an executive. He's the player side will also have former NFL player Hines Ward and Justin Tuck, and former Minnesota Vikings defensive end Jared Allen, all getting in on the American Alliance of American Football. The XFL
awesome.
is not set to start until 2020, while this league is set to start next year after this coming up Super Bowl, the week after. It'll have 50 yard. It'll have 50, what is it? 50 player teams within 10 cities. One game a week will be aired. They've already reached a TV agreement. One game a week will be aired on CBS along with their championship game, and all other games will be aired on their app. Couple different
Johnny Manziel's calling.
couple different notable things is they're promising to be 60% fewer commercials than that of the NFL, and as well as an innovative, quote unquote, innovative approach to broadcasting. There will be no TV timeouts. There will also be no kickoffs in this league. Every team will start automatically at the 25-yard line. They feel like the kickoff is too dangerous. And there will also be no onside kicks.
Oh. I'm cool with the no kickoffs, but onside kicks that's how you win games, man.
Yeah, onside kicks are fun. So Vince McMahon is getting outdone by his former business partner's son and the person that he let in to his knowledge of how he runs the XFL and how he plans on running the XFL in the future, and that is the documentary director for his ESPN 30 for 30. It's a little dirty, right?
Oh, yeah. I love it, though. I'm excited.
Yeah, so for all their fans, the Alliance of American Football will start. Will be less than a year away. Big names, man. He got big names: Troy Polamalu, Hines Ward, Justin Tuck, Jared Allen, Bill Polian. I mean, those are big names.
Absolutely.
So
it's a good way to market your league. I can tell you that.
And their Super Bowl will be played right before training camp gets started. So we will literally have year-round professional football.
That's great.
And I like what he said. There's I can't find where I saw it earlier, but he had a number, and I think he said there's somewhere around like 7,000 or 8,000 Division I college football players, of which only 1,700 work in the NFL. So there's there's a giant pool of players.
Good players that are going to get to play.
Yeah. And they're not going out. The XFL has said if you've had discipline issues or anything like that, you won't be welcomed. So players like Johnny Manziel would not be welcomed in the XFL, but they will be welcomed with open arms in the Alliance of American Football, the AAF. Man, everybody's getting in on these NFL
8 teams. Did you say that too?
Oh, is it 8? I thought it was 10. I said 10.
Oh, maybe it is. Maybe it is 10. I thought I read 8 today, but I could be wrong.
It's somewhere around there. 8 or 10 teams. And their goal is to first draw out of the area. So the 8 teams will be strategically placed across the country, and they will try to stock those teams with local players before they go out and draft players from all over the country, because to get it started they want they want the familiarity.
That's how you promote. That's how you promote the team.
Yeah,
Got to sell tickets.
yeah. So it's interesting. I'm all on board. I hate it for the XFL. Vince McMahon has got to be pissed off right now.
Oh yeah, he's got to be furious. I'm sure. No doubt about it.
But everything I'm reading about the Alliance of American Football, they're going to be doing it, and they're going to be doing it better than Vince McMahon. So that's going to be interesting.
Whatever keeps me entertained year round, I'm cool with it.
Yeah. We have any more news or notes that we need to hit?
I think I hit everything I wanted to hit.
Okay. Couple other things. One, if you follow the Sports Greek on All Pro Nation, he is in Arizona right now covering some minor league baseball. He's going to be putting updates up daily, so follow him on his Twitter page, follow him on his Facebook page, and he's posting stuff on allpronation.com. Be sure to check out his podcast on the all-new All Pro Nation radio network. Be sure to follow me on Twitter at 318 Chris Smith. Follow Tanner at purple_post. And also be sure to follow All Pro Nation on Facebook and Twitter at All Pro Nation. And I think I mentioned it last week, but I'm going to keep mentioning it. We have a new podcast joining the All Pro Nation radio network in a couple weeks. Be on the lookout. It's going to be called 3 Count, and it will be a WWE-centric podcast. So I don't think I mentioned the name or what it would be about last week. I think I just said a new podcast is coming. But we did put a little teaser video out on the Twitterverse, so you may have seen it already. And I think with that, we're going to call it a wrap.
Yep.
Thanks to all our listeners, especially Kim Jong-un, who is listening to the podcast. We appreciate
We love you, little rocket man.
Dude, I could not believe when I looked at the analytics and it said somebody from the Republic of Korea, which, yes, I know is South Korea, but it's just funny that somebody in Korea is listening to this podcast.
I probably thought it was soccer.
Maybe. I'm just going to say
right.
that it was one of the American athletes in the Olympics who were picking up the All Pro Nation podcast before they went out and won a gold medal. That's what I'm thinking. We
appreciate you all that listen. Every last one of you. Even you, little rocket man.
Every single one of you. Thank you guys so much. We will be back next week. We are going, I think we're going to have a guest on next week.
I am working on getting a draft guru on next week.
Yeah, that hasn't been confirmed yet. But we're looking at having a guest next week. But just to kind of give you guys a rundown, next week and in the next 4 weeks are all going to be based on the draft, NFL draft, and whatnot. And then of course that we'll have a draft breakdown. We'll be doing our final mock draft the week of the draft, and then so we got a bunch of good draft stuff. So if you're a draft junkie, you're gonna not want to miss the next couple episodes. And Tanner, how's your bracket doing, man? Did you bust?
It's garbage. It's absolute garbage. I'm just kidding. Yeah, it's trash. It's trash, almost like everybody else. But I got 3 Final Four teams left. I got Cincinnati got beat out the other night. They blew their lead, so.
Oh man,
that's all right.
Did you
go Duke?
Did you have Virginia going all the way?
No, I had them getting beat out by Cincinnati.
Okay.
In the Elite Eight.
Okay.
So. I still got Duke, Michigan, and Villanova to keep me alive. Make some money. So we'll see what happens.
I don't take credit for a lot, and I don't brag about a lot. But if you ever listen to the daily show on the All Pro Nation Radio Network called the APN Morning Bite, it's a little 5-minute show that I do on sports topics. Last week I did a morning bite on a couple teams to be on the lookout for in the
UMBC?
in March Madness. I did not say UMBC. I wish
The
I would have
Retrievers.
called. I wish I would have called that one. But I did call Loyola Chicago and Syracuse. So if you listen to me,
I got I had Loyola Chicago in my Sweet 16. So
yeah. So if you listened to me
I got that
when
one.
I said Loyola Chicago and Syracuse, you were really happy that you did because they advanced to the Sweet 16. So that's all good. And I think we'll call it. That's it. I have nothing else. We're done.
Beautiful.
Get out of here.
Peace, guys.